It's another Sunday, it's another brawl, what are we doing?
Nonsense Rumble!
That's right, what's the category today, Rick?
Today we're doing a Challenge Rating 3 Dungeons & Dragons monster.
We absolutely are, and we've once again imposed self-bans on Dragonlings.
Yes, I've put a personal ban on dragons. There are a couple here, they would probably win.
Oh, almost certainly, because I think this tier's got the gold one, and they're bollocks.
Yeah, it's like gold and blue. What do you want? Do you want to fuck around with fire, or do you want to fuck around with lightning? Either way.
Yeah. So, those of you who are joining us for the Rumble for the first time, just very briefly, we pick something that fits the category, and we argue why our thing wins. Why am I saying thing? Well, because we're once again delving into the horrible depths of the D&D Monster Manual. Rick, who's your CR3 honourable mention?
My CR3 honourable mention is the Manticore.
Interesting!
Yeah, because it has exactly 24 shots with its tail stuff, and then it has to reload by going to bed. It has a lot of fly speed, and a lot of range on its tail things, but I think my pick will beat it.
That's absolutely valid. I do think that I think 24 shots is still quite a fucking lot, though.
It is, but when you get to my pick, you'll see exactly why. Okay, so do you have an honourable mention today?
Oh, you're making me feel nervous. Okay, my honourable mention is the Nightmare.
Yeah, it's such a cool thing, and you can just, go to the ethereal plane.
It really is so very cool. I just don't think it's impressive on a one-on-one fight scale.
Yeah, it's just such a good thing to have as part of an encounter. And I've got another couple of things. I have a massive paragraph of stuff where I muse to myself of stuff that would be good as part of an encounter, but not one-on-one.
That's the big problem with these, and this is why I kind of wanted to do a challenge rating as an encounter rather than as a solo monster. But it got poo-pooed, and that's fine. Maybe we'll do it in the future once we've done Tarask versus Tarask.
Yeah, we can do encounters in future as well. This is the kind of level where you can actually just build up an XP budget, as it were.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get too bogged down in technical settings like XP budgets, what the fuck is that? Rick, who's your pick today?
My pick today is the werewolf.
Oh, yes.
It's entirely because of his a complete immunity to non-magical attacks from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. The Manticore only has piercing, slashing, so the werewolf is immune to the Manticore.
Yeah, the werewolf is quite notorious for the argument of, does pushing full damage work on a werewolf? And every DM in their right mind says, yes, of course it does, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. So the Manticore will have to pick it up, fly at half speed, and then drop it multiple times.
Yeah, but
while at the same token, it's going to be able to retaliate.
How far is its flying speed, the Manticore?
I think it's 50.
50. So 25 feet, I don't think is enough to trigger full damage.
Yeah, so it'd have to spend multiple rounds flying up.
And I believe the werewolf gets 2 attacks minimum, doesn't it?
I believe it does, yeah. And the werewolf has multiple forms, the human form having a spear that it can throw. The spear is only 20 and 60 feet, so if the Manticore is above that, then, it can't hit it. But it does have it, so if the Manticore is coming around, then the human form werewolf, who still has all the resistances, by the way, can just retaliate.
Yeah, I don't like the human form for werewolves. It's nowhere near as metal.
No, it's not. It's not in any way. But yes, for my werewolf, what are you fighting it with?
I think I have a chance based on the one gimmick this creature has. It is, of course, the Basilisk.
Okay.
We have a fucking match, Rick.
We do.
I didn't think the Basilisk was going to be as much of a hot pick as it actually has turned out to be. I just picked it because I thought the gimmick of, hey, it can just fucking win if you're unlucky, was a pretty cool gimmick to have. And considering you've picked a werewolf, a defensive powerhouse, this was the right way to go.
Yeah. One of the other things I was maybe going to pick was the green hag, but I was like, oh yeah, she can only go invisible with an action. She's got perfect invisibility whenever she wants, but that means she's not attacking, so she's not winning when she's doing that. That would actually be a really good counter to the Basilisk, because you can't keep eye contact with something that you can't see.
But here's the thing as well, is green hags in general just aren't good unless they're part of a coven.
Yeah, they're basically just melee people that happen to have vicious mockery and can go invisible.
Yeah, and by the way, folks, they buffed up fucking what's her name in Baldur's Gate. Yeah. Hags aren't that fucking tough.
Yeah, Auntie Ethel is she's a level 5 encounter when you first meet her, and that's when she's potentially our most dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you probably aren't.
No. You'll be lucky to be level 4.
Yeah, whereas next time you meet her, you are probably going to be max level, and she isn't.
Yeah, but our encounter's still pretty atmospherically spooky.
Oh, it's very spooky, unless you know the gimmick, in which case you're going to open up by neutralizing the gimmick.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those as well where it's very much like an artificial risk in that the actual risk isn't your party dying, it's the person they've captured dying.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, Basilisk versus Werewolf. The Basilisk has got one trick and it gets to use it as often as it likes.
Yeah, so it can. It's got the Petrifying Gaze. Any creature starting its turn within 30 feet of the Basilisk, and it doesn't even have to make an action with this. And the Basilisk also does piercing and poison damage, so the poison damage is not walled by the Werewolf.
Mm-hmm. And the Werewolf can choose, if it's intelligent enough, which it probably is, to look away, but it does mean that its attack rolls are going to be at disadvantage.
Against AC 15, that's not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be, if the Basilisk is incapacitated, the creature becomes restrained. Once it's restrained, it's petrified, and then it dies. So DC 12.
Yeah, it's not a particularly high roll, so like it is quite beatable, but it gets to do it every time. If my recollection is correct, I don't have to stat block in front of me. It's not one of these where if you pass it once, it can't try again for 24 hours. It can just keep doing it.
Yeah, you can just keep doing it. Werewolf is low AC. Werewolf has 58 HP, so if the Basilisk is attacking normally with the bites, it does 7 damage on a hit, more likely to hit. Werewolf attacking the Basilisk. The Werewolf has 40 feet in wolf form, so like every other round, it can just like go, slash, and come back. If it's in wolf or hybrid, it can bite, and the same DC 12 is to curse it with lycanthropy. Oh no, that's humanoids only.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work on a Basilisk. That'd be Ben.
Yeah, it would be. 2 with the spear, or 1 with the bite with the claw. It's the same slashing damage from claws, almost as much from a bite, less from a spear.
Here's the thing: I generally think the Werewolf loses by petrification in this encounter.
Yeah, the Werewolf has. Does it say it has additional saves?
Unlikely.
Yeah, so it's got a +2. So it'll be immobilized after failing once and petrified after failing twice.
It's got a +2 to con, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's a straight up 50-50.
Yeah.
Do you think,
so
realistically, that the Werewolf would be able to kill the Basilisk before it fails 2 con saves? I don't think that's a fair assessment, and I think that's what we've got to look at rather than the damage here.
Yeah, because the damage is a secondary thing. The Werewolf has to be there, or it's got a 60-foot range on the spear. So all it can just like go into humanoid form, get the spear, chuck it, do sod all damage.
Yeah, but again, the Basilisk just has to fucking run.
Yeah,
and it was still forced to saves, and the spear does way less damage than the Werewolf claw bite combo.
Yeah, the Basilisk only moves 20.
Okay, 40 feet plus 30 is 70.
Yeah, sure.
And bear in mind, the Werewolf can't run and do an attack.
Yeah, I think the Basilisk wins.
Are we making it official?
Ding ding, the Basilisk wins.
This might be the match that I was most concerned with, so I'm genuinely surprised.
Yeah,
I was banking so much on that gimmick, and I was also I kind of figured that you might just happen to pick something that not necessarily nullified it, but made it a non-factor.
Yeah, if I picked the Manticore, then 24 shots of tail probably would have won it.
Oh, no question, because I think that's like got a 120-foot range, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like 100-foot regular and 200-foot at disadvantage.
Yeah, 100-foot, like, all it has to do is run for a couple of turns, create enough distance, and yeah, it would have been no question.
Yeah, just fly 31 feet in the air, then you're outside of its petrified gaze.
I completely forgot about the fly speed.
Yep.
So,
all he has to do is keep flying so it doesn't fall, and that's it.
Man, these control challenge rating matches are both the most interesting and the most boring, because it's fun to talk about cool monsters, but it gets boring real quick when we're just like, okay, so this stat means we can do this, and...
Yeah, well, it generally comes down to immunities and fly speed.
Yeah. Again, I feel like encounters would be a bit more diverse and have a bit more of an argument to be made. Because do you pick one really strong thing, or do you pick 20 skeletons? 20 skeletons, it's always the skeletons.
Or one orca. Did you see the orca on this list and go, that'd be cool, and then realise its speed is 0 unless it's in the water?
I did see the orca because I needed the orca stat blocks in case you guys did something silly in Storm King.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a pet orca.
They're not pets, they're mounts.
Okay, that's even worse, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, orca does like 5d6 damage on a bite, which is pretty good, but like, if you can't move...
Yep. Well, it's just it. It's like, when are you going to be in the water? Very infrequently. There's very rarely campaigns where you're all aquatic enough that you can have underwater encounters constantly.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you pick a shark as your encounter? Because, like, they're a lot more, culturally antagonistic.
I mean, yes, but in actual real life, orcas are real fucking hard to deal with.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They're ramming millionaires' boats.
Yeah. Especially if you're a seal.
But that's enough about orcas. That's another one in the books. Join us next week and see if I can get a clean sweep for the month of February.
You might do. Let's see. See you later, everybody.